to all governments and peoples of the Bolivarian Alliance for our America, ALBA-TCP. Today, August 20th, Wednesday, in a clear afternoon, a shining afternoon from Caracas, Venezuela. Greetings to all. Well, ALBA has always been active, and I congratulate the foreign ministers that proposed the making of this 13th extraordinary summit to update everything that has to do with the constant cooperation plans and to go over the current hectic context, which has been incidentally very hectic, that we have in the continent, Latin America and the Caribbean, a territory in dispute between the strength of the people that want independence, the people that want progress, and deep projects, and the occult forces of the U.S. empire. It's a constant struggle. ALBA came from the result of that struggle. This Bolivarian Alliance for the peoples of our America, that has been and will continue to be an alliance for peace, for overcoming poverty, for cultural and education cooperation, economic and trade cooperation, for the struggle against the climate emergency and the mitigation of so many natural disasters that we have experienced. This Bolivarian Alliance that works for the profound union of our America, that saw from their hands the community of Latin American and Caribbean states rise, which was the home of the famous Project Petro Caribe, and that has been the home of so many good initiatives throughout the years. These over 20 years, we're going to turn 21 on December. This alliance was born as an alternative to the colonial model that they wanted to impose with ALCA. It was a neoliberal model that they wanted to impose as an agreement to be fulfilled, where the economy of the 33 countries of Latin America and Caribbean would be subordinate economies, control economies by the U.S. economy. There was a lot of struggle on the streets in the 90s, in that first decade of the 21st century. A lot of promotion was given in that summit of the Americas in Mar del Plata, and from the heat of that struggle between a project that is our own, humane, executed and built by our people from our own identities, that protects our peoples, that's where the Bolivarian alternative for the peoples of America came to be. And from these last years, the Alliance developed many work programs for the eradication of illiteracy, the miracle operation which returns sight to our workers, our rural workers in neighborhoods all over our continent. This came from the Sandino Agreement that is also celebrating an anniversary these days. Integration in health, the successful experience of the family doctor that Fidel created in the Cuban Revolution. We did the same in Venezuela. An extraordinary revolution in health, in everything that has to do with science, ethics, and morals. Behind me, you can see Dr. Jose Gregorio Hernandez. We reivindicate him as our saint, the first Catholic saint. And Dr. Jose Gregorio Hernandez, in life, he did what Cuban doctors do today all over our continent, in Africa, in Asia. Provide love, provide health and solidarity. Practice a humane medicine. Our people is deeply grateful, Mr. President Diaz-Canel, from the very deep of our heart, for that Cuban doctor mission that is all over our fields. And where did that come from? Here. Its womb was ALBA. So we are an alliance of warriors for peace. That's ALBA. An alliance in Bolivar, and which is the same to say an alliance in Martí. An alliance in Sandino as well. General of men and women of free peoples. This is to say also an alliance in Fidel, in Chavez, and Raúl. It is to say the alliance of Tupac Takari, of all our heroes. So it's always important that ALBA, if it is a characteristic of ours, is the first in the great events, as some people used to say when they broadcast the World Cup, the Football World Cup, always first in the great events. That's where ALBA is always going to be, in solidarity, in union, in our capacity to denounce the imperialist aggressions. ALBA is always going to be first, together, accompanying the people of Palestine against genocide and massacres. Mr. Foreign Minister Ivan Hill, Executive Secretary of ALBA, Raúl Lee, Vice Minister of Caribbean, dear Presidents, Foreign Ministers, Prime Ministers, Ambassadors. It's impressive the images that we see here. Where you go to a social media or another one, it is astonishing. It's astonishing to see how they kill Palestinian children by the thousand, that go looking for water, that go to look for food, and they are killed with high precision missiles live on social media. It's something characterizes this time that we are experiencing, and from which we would come out stronger and victorious, is the cruelty and the normalization of the use of force, of the threat of use of force, and of crime in all its expression. Crime in all its expressions. To shell noble peoples, unarmed people, defenseless as the Palestinian people. And ALBA is there, bravely denouncing, accompanying the great global movement, powerful movement of solidarity with the Palestinian people, that sooner or later will accompany the Palestinian people for the refoundation of the states, its independence, and the territory that they have a right to. So we carry that spirit of Morazam, the great liberator of the Central American lands, of Maurice Bishop, who still smiles in front of the people of the Caribbean, Chatelier, Edward Leblanc. We are Bolivar. We are Sucre. Dear colleagues, we were accompanying the brotherly people of Bolivia in the commemoration of the 200 years of the foundation of the Republic of Bolivar. A process that came from the deep of the people of High Peru, in La Paz and Cochabamba, where they cried the first shouts of independence of all South America. We could probably say of all a continent, without internet, without WhatsApp, coordinated telepathically by soul, together with the people of Quito. Then came the other shouts of independence, April 19th in Caracas, then Buenos Aires, and so on. From that time, at the beginning of the 19th century, last Monday, we were remembering President Arce, that is 200 years of the date of the arrival of Bolivar to La Paz. We get very emotional because we have a great love for history and for the people of Bolivia. And in this 200th anniversary, even though there may come right now cloudy skies, it will once again be clear in the future, and Bolivia will retake the independence dream of all those that have struggled. And Bolivia, as the liberator said in Bucaramanga, he was asked, "What is Bolivia for you, liberator?" And he said, "A great love of freedom." That's what he found when he arrived in La Paz, when he went to Potosí, when he lived in Cochabamba. What he found was a great love for freedom in a people that hugged him forever. So we have always been in the first line of the great events of our times, and that's what strengthened ALBA. ALBA is strengthened by its ideological, spiritual, humane, and political spirit. ALBA is the alliance of the brave. It's an alliance that is constantly coordinated, brings hope for the rebellious people that fight for their own projects. We have to see where all the places that this alliance reach. It is impressive. The social movements of ALBA have also come out and denounced and took their part in the face of all the incidents. ALBA is not an organization that is frozen in time. It is an organization that is on the field and continues to evolve, providing response in different fields: cultural, economic, diplomatic. Now we are seeing a moment of tons of threats. A threat here, a threat over there. Those that believe that own the world, those that believe that our America is the backyard, those that believe that Monroe can come back and that Bolivar will stand still. The people of Bolivar, the rebellious spirit of Bolivar. They think that only a word from them is enough for the peoples to surrender their flags and hand over their land and homeland. Lots of struggle there's been, lots of history there is and will be, as we always recall from that date, February 2004, when Commander Hugo Rafael Chavez, before the presence of over 1 million people of Caracas, dictated the anti-imperialist